Guys, this is Money Minded Mandeep. Welcome back to the channel. Today I will tell you how you can screw up your entire life with a product that sounds so simple. Coming right up. So today I want to educate you on ULIPs. Now what are ULIPs? The full form is Unit Linked Insurance Plans. As the name suggests, it's a combination of two things, insurance cover and investment. And the word unit linked suggests that whatever money is being invested in your name will be linked to stock market, money market, or both. The structure of which is pretty similar to that of a mutual fund. Just like you invest your money in a mutual fund and you get units of mutual fund, and the price of one unit is called NAV. Similarly, you invest in a ULIP fund and you will get units of that particular ULIP fund, and the price of one unit will be known as NAV. That's it. That's what a ULIP is. You pay a certain amount of premium every month or every quarter or maybe every year, and a certain part of that money will go towards your life insurance premium, and the rest of that chunk will be invested just like a mutual fund. So what's the problem? A mutual fund doesn't give you a life insurance. Well, in some cases they've started giving it, but let's stick with me. A mutual fund doesn't give you a life insurance. A ULIP is giving you both. And my super professional insurance agent is really listing a ton of benefits of ULIPs. So Mandeep, how can you say that a ULIP could screw up my life? So as I've already mentioned, a ULIP is a combination of two things, insurance and investments. Let's look at insurance first. And whenever we talk about life insurance, there's only one question you need to ask yourself. If I die today, forget the future, if I die today, what amount of money do I want my family to receive? Considering the fact that your family is financially dependent on you. Your kids are going to the school because you are paying the fees on time. Your family is living in that apartment because you're paying rent on time. So if you die today, what would be that number, the monetary number which you want your family to receive? And if you can't come up with such a number, consider your annual income. For example, let's say you make 10 lakh rupees in 1 year. That means whatever your needs and wants are, you are able to cover all of those needs and wants in 10 lakh rupees for 1 year, not more than 1 year. So if you die today, your family should get money that will enable them to continue the same lifestyle that they are living now for the next 10 years, 15 years, or maybe 20 years. So with that logic, a person should get a life insurance cover that is minimum of 10 times of their annual income. In our case, 10 lakh was the annual income. You multiply it by 10, you will get 1 crore rupees. So a person making 10 lakh rupees in 1 year should get a minimum life insurance cover of 1 crore rupees. But that's just minimum. He is not dying today. What if he dies 10 years from now? The future value of 1 crore rupees after 10 years would have diminished greatly due to inflation. So it's always a better idea to not go minimum, but go maximum, maybe 15 times or 20 times as allowed by IRDAI. So it should ideally be 15 to 20 times your annual income. But for now, let's go with 1 crore rupees. Let's say I need a life insurance cover of 1 crore rupees. Now, if I search what are the plans available in the market that can give me this kind of insurance cover, I will definitely come across term insurance, which will give me 1 crore rupees of cover at a premium of maybe 1000 or maybe 1200 rupees per month. An actual figure would be 1021 rupees per month. That's my actual insurance premium. So for roughly around 12,000 rupees, if you are a person my age and doesn't smoke, fit and fine, can get a term insurance of 1 crore rupees. But if I were to ask ULIPs to give me an insurance cover of 1 crore rupees, do you know what amount of premium would they charge me? They will charge me somewhere around 10 lakh rupees per annum. That means every month I will have to pay around 84,000 rupees just to get a cover of 1 crore rupees from a ULIP plan. And it's absurd. That is why no company will pitch you a ULIP plan that is giving you 1 crore of insurance cover, and no agent will pitch you that plan either. So they try to sell you a ULIP with an insurance cover of 10 lakh rupees, 20 lakh rupees, maybe 50 lakh rupees without considering your actual need of a life insurance, considering the fact that you could die right now. You must be wondering that why is a 1 crore insurance cover in a ULIP is so expensive. That's because of a rule. Whatever premium you pay in 1 year, the insurance companies are required to offer you an insurance cover of at least 10 times that amount. It can go lower, but it's the bare minimum they are required to do for you to get the tax benefits. So they are doing just the bare minimum. And the biggest mistake most people end up making is they underestimate the event of their death. and they take up a ULIP anyway without realizing that they have inadequate life insurance cover and that they can die right now. You are thinking that I'm not dying anytime soon, so it's better to take a ULIP that's giving me a life insurance as well as a mutual fund investment, which is tax free, and I'll come to that in a minute. Now, there may be newer ULIPs which I'm not aware of, which are offering an insurance cover of maybe 50 lakh rupees, 1 crore rupees, but you still have to ask this question: how much insurance cover do you need? And in a few minutes, I'll also prove why ULIPs are still bad even if they are giving you an adequate insurance cover. Now, before I move on to the investment component, let me wrap this up with the bottom line. Bottom line is, never underestimate your death and never be underinsured. You should have an adequate life insurance cover if you are providing for your family, because you could die right now and suddenly 10 lakhs or 20 lakhs doesn't sound like a good deal. Moving on to the second component of ULIP, that is investment. And I have already told you this. A ULIP fund has a structure similar to that of a mutual fund. You invest your money in mutual funds and you get units in return. Similarly, you invest your money in a ULIP fund and you will get units. Now, there's not just one fund to pick from. An insurance company will give you an option to choose from maybe 7 or 10 different ULIP funds. To give you an example, there could be a ULIP fund that invests your money in only large cap stocks. There could be another fund that invests your money in large cap plus mid cap stocks. Then there could be a debt fund. Then there could be a hybrid fund, and so on. So according to the risk you want to take, you can choose the appropriate fund. The good thing is you have the freedom to switch your money between these funds. Earlier, there were some switching charges that you had to pay in order to switch your funds, but now every company is offering you 4 or 5 switches every year free of cost. But what you can't do is take your entire money and move it to a different insurance company, to a different ULIP plan, and to a different basket of ULIP funds. There's a good possibility that an insurance company that is managing 7 to 8 ULIP funds is struggling to generate returns in all of those funds. And if that's the case, you will be stuck with low returns. Now let me explain the charges related to all ULIP plans. Earlier, there were more than 10 charges on any ULIP plan, and it was very easy for anyone to give a negative opinion on ULIPs. It was like the companies were asking for it. But now, due to rising awareness, the companies are forced to eliminate all unnecessary charges in ULIPs to still be able to sell ULIPs. So if you buy a ULIP today, that too online with no agent commission and no other charges, then you'll be mostly paying only 2 kinds of charges. First is the fund management charge, which is similar to that of a mutual fund's expense ratio. And the second is mortality charge. The fund management charge, i.e. expense ratio, is capped at 1.35% by IRDAI, and I have no problem with it. However, it is definitely higher than most direct mutual funds. To give you an example, I have a direct mutual fund that has an expense ratio of 0.4%. But still, I believe 1.35% is also good if a fund manager is able to perform. The second charge is called mortality charge, and it is the premium that goes towards your life insurance cover. This charge is always calculated on your sum assured, which is your life insurance cover. And it has a set formula. The formula is charge rate multiplied by sum at risk. Sum at risk means sum assured, divided by 1000 and then further multiplied by 1/12. That means it's a monthly charge. Now this charge rate is really interesting, and I've pulled up an illustration from hdfclife.com, and here you can see the mortality charge for different age groups. So between the age of 18 to 36, the charge remains under 2. But as you age further, the charge rises exponentially and ends up at 11 when you retire. That means every year you will be paying a mortality charge that is exponentially higher than the previous year's mortality charge. And how do you pay this charge? It is automatically paid to the insurance company by cancelling your units of ULIP fund. That means they will be periodically taking out some money out of your investment to pay for the mortality charge. And on top of mortality charge, you also have to pay a GST at the rate of 18%. Now, this does sound scary that every year you will be required to pay a higher mortality charge, and that will definitely eat up your investment returns. But that is only half the picture. So there are 2 types of ULIPs. The first type, and the less popular type of ULIP, says that we will give you an insurance cover of, let's say, 20 lakh rupees, and for that you have to pay an annual premium of 2 lakh rupees. After 5 years, you would have paid a total premium of 10 lakh rupees. Let's say you die after 5 years. What will happen? Your entire fund value of 10 lakh rupees plus whatever returns you've made. Let's say your returns were 5 lakh rupees. So your fund value is 15 lakh rupees. That amount will go to your family. And the life insurance part of 20 lakh rupees will also go to your family. In this type of ULIP, you will be required to pay a higher mortality charge every year because your life insurance cover of 20 lakh rupees remains independent of your fund value and it will always be there. The second type of ULIP says that we will give you an insurance cover of 20 lakh rupees. You have to pay an annual premium of 2 lakh rupees. Let's say after 5 years, you have paid 10 lakh rupees. Your returns were 5 lakh rupees. Your total fund value is 15 lakh rupees and you die at that point of time. Your 15 lakh rupees will go to your family and an extra 5 lakh rupees only will be required by the company to pay your family, not the entire 20 lakh rupees of life insurance, because your life insurance cover is getting adjusted with your own fund value. That means one day your fund value will become 20 lakh rupees and at that point of time, your life insurance cover will vanish. So every year you are paying some sort of premium, you are getting some sort of returns, and that amount is getting adjusted from your life insurance cover. That means your life insurance cover is decreasing every year. And with decreasing life insurance cover, your mortality charge rate will be multiplied by a lower number the next year. That will not let mortality charge increase, rather it will make it decrease and it will eventually turn to zero as soon as your fund value matches your insured cover. All in all, there are two major charges left in the new age ULIP plans, and you have to realize this fact that even if you are paying 2 lakh rupees of premium in 1 year, entire 2 lakh rupees is not getting invested. So even if a ULIP fund is making 12% returns, your personal fund returns will be less than 12% because you did not invest entire 2 lakh rupees. You invested a little less than that. Now let's talk about the lock-in period. Mostly all ULIPs will come with a lock-in period of minimum 5 years. What happens if you can't afford to pay the premium during the lock-in period? So the money you were paying towards any ULIP plan is called not SIP, it's called premium. Yes, it is getting invested in your name, but it's still not called SIP, it is always called premium. Why am I emphasizing this word? Because it has a deeper meaning. Premium means compulsory and regular payments, failure of which will result in cancellation of your life insurance policy. And if you stop paying your ULIP premium during the lock-in period, your money still gets stuck till the end of lock-in period. And from the time you stop paying premiums till the lock-in period ends and you finally able to withdraw your money will not remain in that ULIP fund. It will be shifted to a discontinued fund and it will generate only the returns that are equivalent to a savings bank interest rate. So you are being penalized in 3 ways. Number 1, your life insurance gets cancelled. Number 2, your money gets shifted to a discontinued fund. And number 3, that discontinued fund will fetch you 3 or 4% of returns only. What happens if you stop paying your premium after the lock-in period? Then you can opt for a cancellation. Your life insurance will go away and your fund value will be returned to you. Once you understood the difference between premium and SIP, you are now ready to understand exactly how a ULIP can screw up your entire life. Let's take an example. You are a middle class person working hard, providing for your family, ensuring a better future for your kids, right? And you could easily pay 1 lakh rupees per annum towards any ULIP policy. So you did. That policy would have fetched you a life cover of 10 lakh rupees, but let's say it fetched you 20 lakh rupees. Now, after a couple of years, something like COVID happens, you lose your job and you are in a financial distress. Now it's really hard for you to keep up with those premium payments. So after 2 years, you tell your insurance company that I'm sorry, I'm no longer able to pay the insurance premium. Your company will say you are going through a financial distress. You have a lot of problems at hand. Let us give you some more problems. Your life insurance is now gone and whatever money you had invested till now is being moved to a discontinued fund. You will get 4% returns on that. After 5 years, you can feel free to withdraw that money. This clearly goes against the goals of a middle class person. Now here's what will happen if you follow the rule that says never mix insurance and investment. You are a middle class person making 10 lakh rupees every year. You were aware enough to know that you needed a minimum of 1 crore as life insurance cover. So you chose to go with a term plan. You were my age and you end up paying a premium of 1000 rupees per month. Since you are earning good money, you can easily invest 20,000 rupees every month in a mutual fund of your choice. After a couple of years, COVID happens, you lose your job, and it becomes really hard for you to keep up with that 20,000 rupee SIP towards a mutual fund. you can simply choose to stop that SIP. No mutual fund has the power to impose any kind of penalty on you, and the money that you had already invested will continue to generate great returns as per the mutual fund. And if you are in a bigger financial distress and if you even need to take out that money, there's no lock-in period. And since you made a very smart decision of keeping your life insurance separate of 1 crore rupees that costs just 1000 rupees every month, in most cases, you'll still be able to afford that 1000 rupees per month of premium and not let your life insurance go away. And the best thing about term insurance is the sooner you get, the cheaper it costs, and the premium remains fixed for the entire term. So 10 years from now, I'll still be paying only 1000 rupees for my term insurance premium. At that time, even if I'm facing a financial distress in my household, that 1000 rupees will not cause any more burden on me. I can still continue to pay that. So I highly recommend you first watch my term insurance video. I've linked up there and in the description as well. And if you're really interested to buy a term plan, then I've left a link to Policybazaar in the description. The video is not sponsored by Policybazaar. That is merely an affiliate link. So if you click on that link and get yourself a term plan, you'll be indirectly supporting us with no extra cost. And to begin your investment journey with mutual funds and stocks, I'm leaving 2 links in the description. One link will take you to the mutual fund app that is best in my opinion, and that is free to use. And another link will take you to open a Demat account with Zerodha, which is India's best broker. It doesn't charge any kind of brokerage if you are investing, and their app and their tech support is really amazing. You will love it. So in my opinion, an investment plan should not be as rigid as ULIP. You should have the flexibility to stop your investment for a little while just so you can recoup from the financial loss. And while the insurance premium is compulsory to pay, it is always a better idea to get a term plan that costs really cheap so that you can continue to pay that. Now there's this thing about tax-free income, and yes, that's true. If you invest in any mutual funds, the returns are always going to be taxable. You have to pay a 10% of LTCG tax on a profit of more than 1 lakh rupees. But in case of ULIP, the entire returns are tax-free, and that is a very good point. It's almost tempting. So before I explain the tax concept, I still feel that it's just not worth it to invest in a policy or an investment plan that is as rigid as a ULIP. But still, let's try to understand the tax point. So yeah, the income is going to be tax-free. But even that is a little deceptive. If you compare ULIPs to mutual funds, historically, you will see that not a whole lot of ULIPs have beaten mutual funds in a 10-year or a 20 period return. I'm not saying they are far behind, but even a difference of 1% can make or break this tax-free point. Let me show you how. Let's say you are investing in a mutual fund, and after 20 years of investing, you found out that the return you got was 12%. That means you would have invested 24 lakh rupees and you would have made a profit of 75 lakh 91 rupees. If I were to straight away deduct 10% from this as tax, then the tax amount would be around 7.6 lakh rupees. But if you had invested this money for the last 20 years in a ULIP instead of a mutual fund, and you found out that your returns are 11%, then your profit would have been 63 lakh rupees. It is a straight up loss of more than 12 lakh rupees compared to 12% returns from a mutual fund. So I'll be happy to go with a mutual fund that is giving me 12% returns, and I'll be happy to pay 7.6 lakh rupees of tax and still be making higher than a ULIP fund. And the fact that any company would give me 8 to 10 options from ULIP funds to choose from, the mutual fund industry is giving me thousands of mutual funds to choose from. It can get a little overwhelming. I'll be happy to make videos to help you how to pick mutual funds, but you get my point. If 8 to 10 ULIPs that are being offered by company A, let's say, are struggling to perform, then I'll be stuck with lower returns till maturity. But I don't have to be stuck with low returns in a mutual fund. I can just exit, take my money and invest in some other mutual fund. Of course, I'll attract some tax liability, but it's always better to aim for higher returns than to save taxes. So bottom lines, 2 lines. Never mix insurance and investment. I've told you what could happen in future. And the second line is, please do not underestimate the event of your death. You could die right now. I could die right now. So you must always have a life insurance cover, even in financially distressed times. That's the best time to have or to continue your life insurance cover. Now, what to do if you have recently taken a ULIP? So every insurance policy will give you a 15-day window that is called a free look period. And in that window, you can apply for a cancellation. You'll get all of your money back, no questions asked, as mandated by IRDAI. But sometimes the companies will try to fool you because you don't know this rule. So whenever you call your agent or your company or write an email, please mention that I want to cancel my ULIP policy, and it is possible because I am inside the free look period of 15 days. Now, what to do if you are stuck with some kind of ULIP? Firstly, understand your financial condition. If you are from a business background, if you think you have enough liquidity, enough money available, and you can keep paying premiums, then it's not a big deal. You can still take the benefit of tax-free income, as I've told you, and not face any penalties. But if you are a middle class guy and if you had invested in a ULIP thinking of it as a replacement of mutual fund, then I don't think it's a good idea to be stuck with a ULIP. Even then, it will depend how many years you are into your current ULIP plan. If you are nearing your lock-in period, then I would say complete your lock-in period, avoid penalties, and then exit. And of course, it's not a direct investment advice, it's an educational video. With that being said, it was lovely educating you guys. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe. And if you're familiar with Hindi, then we have a Hindi channel called Labor Law Advisor with 1.7 million subscribers. You can consider subscribing that. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.